What's the most embarrassing cringy thing you've accidentally shown someone, or something they accidentally saw while using your phone or computer? Was talking to some cute girl, it was going well, and gave her my phone to add me on Facebook. Her profile was the first profile on the recent Facebook searches. This one's a double whammy. Last year I was rear-ended very bad. I was in the process of moving, so I had lazily left some stuff in the trunk and back seat. In the back seat there was like trash bags of clothes, boxes of DVDs, games, PC hardware, etc. There was also the big paper Victoria's Secret bag that I kept all my sex toys in. Because the dude that hit me was doing nearly 80 and I was at a complete stop, everything that wasn't in a trash bag exploded and went everywhere. So when the police arrived to search my car, I guess to make sure I wasn't drinking since I'd been at a dead stop on the freeway, long story long, they were greeted with a vast array of random things, including my stash of sex devices. They had a good laugh and assured me it wasn't the weirdest thing they'd seen. Honestly, I needed the laugh too, but it was still hella embarrassing. Once that was over, my car was towed to a record yard to be held until I collected my stuff from it. My mom insisted on helping me, and I didn't want to hurt her feelings by saying no, so I let her come and quickly bagged all the sex stuff before she even got out of the car. Crisis averted. Although everyone at that record yard 100% saw it. A couple weeks later, my mom was helping me unpack my stuff from the move, and she grabbed a bag of stuff that had been in my car. I didn't think anything of it, I was busy. All of a sudden she says she found a dog collar and starts explaining that it must be one of her dogs because she's missing one, but stops her sentence short, and I immediately knew what happened. I look over and she's holding the chain part of a ball gag with nipple clamps attached to it. Thank God she put the bag down and moved on. And that's the story of how 4 police officers, a bunch of salvage yard workers and my good Christian mother found out I am a sexual deviant. Editing because everyone is curious. I was rear-ended because it was very dark, and as I was merging from another highway up a hill, I saw a person on the other side of the hill standing in the middle of my lane, who turned out to be a homeless man who was very much on drugs. I stopped just in time to not hit him, but he wouldn't move from in front of my car, so I had to sit there until he did. By the time he shuffled away and I was ready to hit the gas again, I got hit. He walked a good distance away from the wreck he caused, and proceeded to stare at the guardrail until the police arrived. Then he hopped off the highway and disappeared. That would be when my sister saw my bag. We recently reconnected. We had been estranged because of my absolutely insane mother. We were laughing, talking, just generally catching up on 20 years of life, and of course we were showing one another pictures of our family's houses, friends. I thought, oh, I'll pull up Google Photos because then she can just open albums and see each person or whatever all at a time, and I forgot that one of the albums is called Naughty, and Google Photos chose a very naughty pic for the album cover, despite my begging it to choose another. I had the app open to an album of kid pics when I handed it over. She closed the album, swiped to see what other albums she wanted to look at, and I heard, oh, she told her fiancé. We got to know one another really well in that first meeting. Sexy pics of me in lingerie meant for my BF. My mom saw them scrolling through pics from a trip I took. Oh man, how'd she react to that? It was super awkward and she was just like WTF and asked why I had those. Then she was cool and said whatever, it's not my business. I just don't want to see it or imagine it. One time at a family dinner I tried to show my dad a picture of my dog I had gotten. When I turned the phone to face him, I guess I accidentally hit the screen or something. It swiped to a totally naked picture of me. Me and my dad didn't really have much of a relationship before this, and now I don't think that's gonna change too much. My partner showed his friend some pictures from a vacation years ago, and he scrolled too far back, and he accidentally showed them my nudes. I was 5 feet away and died. It's cool, my dad was going through old photos of me when he came to an old photo of him and my mum that I did not need to see. This was years ago, and that traumatic image is still burned into my brain, no matter how much I try to repress it. In my younger years working in desktop support, we had a guy complaining that his computer was running slow. It was literally full of horse porn. This was back in the 90 MHz Pentium days, and long before people had anything better than a 57.7 baud modem in their house. I had to show my boss and point out that obviously, this guy was using company bandwidth. We had a fractured T1 at the time that we paid out the nose for, to download non-work related material onto his company laptop clearly in the office. This was also the same dude who got caught putting breast milk in his coffee, so there may have been a few issues there. I was out of curiosity checking out my friend's GF on Facebook. Like not stalking her or sexualizing her. I met her once, she seemed nice, wanted to see what she was all about. My friend knocked on my door and I answered, and he came in my room, and I just wasn't thinking about what I was doing because it was harmless. Then he saw my screen and was like, why the fuck are you checking out my GF? I was on the receiving end of seeing something I shouldn't have. Early on when I was working at Geek Squad, a girl and her boyfriend came in with a MacBook, saying she was having trouble emptying the recycle bin. I, forgetting that Macs don't have a right-click button on the trackpad, clicked the right side of the trackpad, thinking it would bring up the menu to empty the bin. You have to click with 2 fingers to get the right-click options to show, just like a Windows computer. Except it didn't, and the trash bin opened. Inside there were dozens of pics of this girl's beep eagle, asshole, everything. I saw everything. The girl was on the other side of the computer and didn't see anything I was doing, but at this point I was freaking the fuck out, and of course the computer froze for what felt like 10 minutes, while the trash bin folder was still open, showing all her nudes. During this time, the girl's extremely muscular, juice-out boyfriend woke up asking her how things were going. Once he asked, she started grabbing the computer to turn it towards her. Thankfully by the time she grabbed the laptop, I was able to close out and empty the trash bin. She asked how much it would be, I told her no charge and went on my way. I went into the back and my boss said I looked like I had just seen a ghost. I told him what happened and he was just laughing at me the rest of the day. Bet you learned how Macs work real quick, huh? Yep, I did. I was kind of on the flip side of this when my uncle was going through pictures of my baby cousin on his phone, and swiped too far to show me a picture of my auntie standing completely naked in a doorway. The image is still burned into my mind. I was helping a man with some kind of intellectual impairment download a Bible app onto his phone. I had to go into his browser to search something for him, and it was all porn. About 50 tabs open, each showing what term he'd put into Google, and the search terms were the kind that a 10-year-old would use. I finished getting him the app and attempted to peace out, although not before having to tactfully decline giving him my phone number. I shared a link to my photographer friend's website on Facebook after she and I did a project together. I body painted some models, she took the photos. What I forgot was that there was also a page of nude photos of me from a photo shoot I had modeled for. I'm not exactly shy about nudity, but I also didn't mean to show off those pics to everybody I knew. I also once sexted nudes and dirty requests to my dad instead of my BF in a drunken mistake. I had sent nudes to a guy I was dating. This was before I realized Google Photos saved everything. I proceed to delete everything from my phone and think I'm in the clear. Well, my ex logged into my Google Photos and saw I was sending nudes and freaked the fuck out. I thought he had downloaded some hacker shit onto my phone. I figured it out, eventually. Handed my mom my phone to show her a picture of something or other. Didn't think. Next thing I know, she starts swiping. Mom, you need to stop. Right now. Swipe. Why? I never get to see your pictures. Swipe. Swipe. Stop. Attempt to grab phone. Look of horror on mom's face. Because I have pictures of my dick on there. Ha ha ha. When we were children, we went through some pictures of holidays and family gatherings at my brother's place. My sister-in-law came over when we were giggling hysterically. We had found their secret stash, and there was so many pictures of my brother naked. She was mortified. Father-in-law was looking at photos on my phone with me. I got a text from my wife that said, "I've been a naughty bitch, you need to come home and slap my ass." I turned to him and said, "What kind of daughter did you raise?" I learned that day. A. Turn off preview 3, do not joke about a man's daughter. Lol. Please tell me you told her about it. In this case, I actually didn't. And he laughed after I said that. We didn't exactly high-five, but he's pretty chill about the world. It makes for a funny story though.
Like, comment and subscribe for more interesting stories.